Hey there guys, welcome back to another video. So I'm just in the door there. I have got my scarf on, I've got t-shirt on, jumper on, I've got this zippy on, and then I've got this zippy on as well because it is cold in Ireland today. Let's take a look at the windows, all frosted up, and because there's no heating in these units, it does get very cold in here, especially when you're sitting still. So what have I got in store today? Well, I've got 1,000 business cards to print out and cut. I've got a collage to do, a wee bit of Photoshop editing to do. I've got actually a big canvas to do, and a couple other little smaller things. But we'll start with the business cards. I will show you my process for doing them. So I'm going to get the Konica here fired up. I'll get the computer switched on, get the coffee in, and let's get to work. Okay, so we've got our 350 gram card stock here. This is the one that I use for business cards, for greeting cards. This is the thickest I would run through the Konica. I wouldn't go any heavier than this. It does stay, and the specs say that you can only print 300 gram on it. So I've never had a problem going to 350, but you just don't want to abuse it too much. So yeah, let's get this loaded up. Alright, so I've got my paper loaded into tray 5 here, SRA 3. It automatically picks up the size of it. You just gotta input the weight here, so I have to change this here. So I'm gonna go to paper settings, tray 5, and change set. And then from here I can go to the weight and just put in the maximum here, which is 300 gram. And click on OK and close. Okay, so now we've got that changed, tray 5, SRA 3 and 300 gram. Okay, so I'm just waiting for the machine to warm up, and then I am ready to print. Okay guys, so this is the business card. This is one side of the business card that I have designed. Now I haven't added the bleed to this yet, so this is the standard European size business card, which is 55 millimeters by 85 millimeters. So I'm just going to add a couple of margins to each side of this business card like that, and now I'm going to add the bleed. So I'm going to go to image canvas size and making sure this relative thing is clicked here. I'm going to set this to millimeters, and I'm going to add a 4 millimeter bleed to each side of this business card. So that's what I have now. So if I hit Control and H here in Windows, I can make the margins disappear. So that's what the business card is going to look like. Then I'm going to get it cut, and it'll hopefully be cut around where the margins are set. Okay, so then this is the other side of the business card. So I'm going to save both of these as a PDF. So neighborhood business card or as a JPEG. This is the way I do it. Now there is many different ways you can do it. So I'm just saving it here with the bleed. Then same as this one. JPEG, and that's the one, the front. Okay, make sure maximum quality and hit OK. Okay, from there then I'm going to go to InDesign. Get a wee cup of coffee just to warm up the hands. Okay, so InDesign, I'm going to create a new, and I want an SRA 3 size, which is this 320 by 450 millimeters. Let me create that. I've actually created it the wrong way. Let me do that again. So I'll just flip it around so it's landscape. Okay, with that then I am going to drag in the business cards. So I normally put 20 of these on one of these sheets. So there's 4. I'm going to have to bring this up a little bit. Okay, this there is 20 business cards. Now let me just get this dead center. Okay, so that is the center of my, center of my workspace. So what I'm going to do now is come over here, right click and duplicate this spread. So now I've got two of them, and then what I'm going to do is, let me just drag this across here so I can kind of see it in this monitor. So I'm going to take the back now and just drag it and drop it on top of each one of these. Now when you duplex print on the Konica, the front and the back, they normally don't match up, but because of the bleed you should be alright. It'd be very, very slight. It doesn't be much of a difference. Okay, so there is front and back. So we've got 4, 8, 12, 16, 20 business cards on each SRA3 size. I'll get Control and E just to save this. We call it Newbar business card. BUSE. And make sure it's a PDF because the Konica only recognizes PDFs. So okay, so this job now, guys, is ready to go. So from there you just do the maths. Then I need to do 1,000 of these, so 20 into 1,000 is going to be 50. So it's going to take 50 sheets to get the 1,000 business cards. So let's get in here and let's get it done. So the reason I always print a test run is to make sure the colours are okay, make sure there's no mistakes or there's no lines kind of running through it. It all seems alright. Is it looking a little bit more faded maybe up here than it is down here, I'm thinking. Maybe not. Sometimes with this Konica, because it's old, I have to top up the developer every now and again. If I don't, it kind of leaves these roller marks going across one side of the paper. But that looks okay. So let's run another few. I'll not run them all at once just in case. So I'll try another 9. That'll bring it up to 10 altogether. Just another thing worth noting, guys, it is slightly, you can't see it here, I can see the dark side kind of through the paper here. It is heavy cardstock, so it's kind of difficult to see it, but it is slightly off alignment. So what I'm going to do is go back into InDesign and just pull this yellow side over maybe 4 or 5 pixels, and that should correct that. Okay guys, here we go. We've got 50 sheets printed out, 20 cards on each sheet, so that is going to be 1,000 business cards. Just one piece of advice: make sure you double check or even triple check that you've got all the spelling correct and all the times are correct. I do send these to the customer just to make sure that they check it as well, but the last thing you want to be doing is printing all these out again. Yeah, so let's get these cut. Okay, so when it comes to cutting the business cards, guys, I always cut one side first. So in this case, it's the right side here. And then I am going to make one adjustment on the guillotine and cut the left side of each card. Okay, so then that way I know that all the cards are going to be the same size when it comes to the width. Alright, so there is now two sides cut on each card, and I know that these are all the exact same width. So on to the next stage, just cutting them. I'm going to cut the bottom of them next. So I'll start off cutting the bottom of this one, and then I'll move to the bottom of this one, then to the bottom of this one, and so on. Alright, so guys, you can see that I have made the adjustment with the guillotine, and it's just a matter of cutting the bottom of the next business card. So I'm going to do this all the way up then. So let's do it. So that is the bottom of each business card cut. So now I just have to adjust the guillotine one more time, and that is then to cut the top of each card. So this should be the last adjustment I need to make with the guillotine. And then all these cards should be the exact same size, ready to box up and ready for the customer. Okay guys, so that is 1000 business cards all printed and cut. Now I charge for design of these, I charge €30 for a two-sided design, and then for 1000 business cards I think the total price is €115. So it'll be 85 just for the printing. That's two-sided printing. But let's figure out just how much it would cost to produce these, in terms of paper and toner. So let's jump back into the computer. Okay guys, so I am going to try and work out the cost of actually producing these 1000 double-sided business cards now, and this is just going to be factoring in the actual physical product, not the design cost. So there's two things we have to look at, and that would be the paper and the toner. So the last time I got the paper, it was 400 sheets, and I think it cost me around €97.50 or something like that. I'm going to take away 15 because 15 was for delivery charge. So the last time I got the 400 sheets, it cost me €82.50. Now I know I use 50 sheets for this job, so 50 sheets would be, well, out of 400 is 1/8, so I'm going to divide this by 8, and that should give me my cost of the paper. So the paper is roughly €10. So I use €10 worth of paper, we'll say. Let me just pull this across here now. Okay, and then for the toner now, when it comes, there's my calculator. Okay, so when it comes to the toner, I am on a click contract with the guys that supplied the printer, and basically that means every time I print something, it adds up, and then at the end of the month I pay them for all the printing. In return for that, then I get toner sent out whenever I run out. I get a service contract, or whenever something breaks in the printer, they'll come out and fix it and replace that part. It also makes it easy to figure out the cost of your printing. Now if I look at the contract here, so the price is determined by how much toner is going onto the page. So let me just get the business card. Where is it? Okay, so this is the business card that I produced. Let's just look at the first page. So we can tell here at least 80% of that page is going to be covered in toner. So the white part is the part that's not covered. So most of that sheet, that SRA sheet, SRA3 sheet, is covered in toner. So the cost for 60 to 90% coverage would be, let me get the calculator again, 0.0567. Okay, so that's the cost per click for each sheet that is 80% covered in toner. So I printed off, how many was it, 50, but these are double-sided, so we'll say 100. So I'm going to multiply that by 100, and that gives me a cost of 567. which is not bad. 567 then. Look at that. Okay, so there, that gives us the total cost roughly of producing the business cards. 1,000 business cards is costing me almost €16. So it is good value and there is good profit margins in them. Yeah, so I hope that helps, guys. If it did, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos relating to graphic design and what goes on here in the print studio, then subscribe to the channel.